Come on down.
All right, thank you.
How are you, gentlemen?
Good evening. Doing all right. I'm Mike Sabrin. This is my son, Joey Sabrin.
Nice to meet you.
He was here last year. We wanted to start off by saying thank you very much for the support last year. Joe's going to kind of get into some of the details, but it went off great, even though it was freezing cold. And we appreciate all that you guys do.
Super.
Good evening. My name is Joey Salmon. I'm one of the organizers for the Stowe Gauntlet Race. This event is sponsored by the Stowe Recreation Commission. Thank you for your time tonight and for supporting the race for the last 12 years. Despite the bitter cold last year, the Gobbler still raised close to $20,000. About $8,000 was given to Stowe Community Chest and Habitat for Humanity. The race will be held on November 28th, Thanksgiving morning. The race is capped at 1,000 runners, and we usually get close to that. 2019 marks the 13th anniversary of the Gobbler. I'm before you tonight to ask for a permit for this year's race. We are a fully insured USATF sanctioned event. The event starts at the Snow Community Park in Stowe and finishes at the Boat Facility in Stowe. The majority of the race is on the streets of Stowe. There is a tiny section of the course that crosses Route 117 Bolton, adjacent to the ET&L construction company before reconnecting with the streets of Stowe. We have connected with the police departments of both Bolton and Stowe for police detail support. We have a safety plan that has been approved by the Stowe EMTs and fire department. The race has run very smoothly for the last 12 years. Our goal is to ensure this remains a great community event, and we hope that we have your continued support. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. That's good.
Yeah, I just had a question. So 8,000 went to the community chest. Where did the other money go? Just curiosity.
Yes. So yeah, I asked my wife that. There's administration costs. She's working right now, or she'd be here.
Yeah.
She also told me another place that some of the money went to that I can't remember right now. Another one that they support.
Super. No, this is great. I'm sure you've gotten you talked to the chief and everybody's fine with that. I had
fun
last time. Yep, I had no problems with it.
Sounds good.
All right, then I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Good luck, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate the support.
Thank you. Good.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Good work.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we will welcome the new Parks and Recreation Coordinator. Ellie Wood, Parks and Recreation Commission to hold the annual Halloween parade on Saturday, October 26th.
Allie's getting an indoctrination as to how easy it is to be a town employee.
I am. It's been smooth all the way through, done so far.
At last.
Glass.
Where is your office?
I'm just across the corridor in with Mike.
What's that?
Yes.
Very good. Excellent.
So Parks and Rec and Building Inspector.
Yeah, we hardly ever see one another, so his phone rings.
There's no wasted space in this town hall.
Great.
The Halloween parade has been done for years now.
Yep.
This is a good example as to why we needed a Parks and Rec coordinator, just to be able to be the focal point for events such as this, and lights at Memorial Field and all sorts of things.
So it's all within the school campus. So no road gets shut down.
No road shut down. We'll start as the same plan as last year, but obviously last year was changed due to rain. And we will be on the common from hopefully 2 to 3, and then 3 p.m. prompt will parade from there down to the school, and then they do the trick-or-treating lane round back of the school. Chief is okay with the road closure,
Okay.
and yeah,
Super.
so the plan is before.
Okay.
Very good.
Sounds like a good one. Any questions, gentlemen?
No.
I will move that the Selectmen approve the annual Halloween parade on Saturday, October 26th.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Great.
I don't know, can't make that in the past.
Welcome. Welcome to
Yeah,
Bolton.
welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Welcome.
Thanks. See you no, I won't. I'll
No,
see you
you won't
next.
see me tomorrow.
Have a great weekend. See you next week.
Actually, you might, but I don't expect you in tomorrow, so.
No, not this week. Thank
Okay,
you.
good night now.
Night.
All right, up next is a discussion of possible approval for the Bolton Lions Club to have a sign on the town common for the annual cider donut sale.
That's me.
Come on down.
Those are donuts that have no calories, right?
They are absolutely all there. You each get one.
Hi, good to meet you. Nice to see you.
So this is my first year in the Lion, so they are looking to place an A-frame sign at the intersection of One Aquatic and 117, right at the telephone pole there, off the road and off the, well, maybe on the sidewalk, but not in the fog line.
Yeah.
And just to point people to where we're doing donuts.
You could probably tuck it in where we keep the signboard.
Where is that?
There's a paved area that's sort of like a 45-degree angle to the sidewalk.
Okay.
You might be able to tuck it in there.
So right, yeah, within the common.
Okay.
Does Parks and Rec need to opine on this?
If it's on the sidewalk, no.
Okay.
If it's in the general area of the common,
Yeah, I know we
You've
approved
already gotten
signs.
approval from them to have this event.
Well, they know,
No,
there's nothing on the common.
Oh, okay.
It's
Just,
Just have a sign there.
just put the sign in.
Oh, okay, so where are you selling your donuts?
At Trekker Farm.
Oh, Sharp.
Yeah.
probably the sidewalk would be better, and it would be more visible. Since
We
Sharper
would
is up
also-
Water Quad,
Would it
yeah.
obstruct anything?
I don't think so.
We wouldn't impede the road, of course.
And I think, it's not that big an A-frame, so I think it would be,
Yeah, it's 2.5 by 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
There was one other request to store it behind the utility building on the common, but I guess maybe you have to have
No,
the.
I don't.
For a year?
No. It's gonna, we're there for let's see,
Several weeks, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12 days. 12 every Saturday and Sunday from the 28th of September through the 27th of October. So it would be there. We pick it up. I pick it up. There's only one of the pickup trucks, so does that. Pick it up at the end of the day, the weekend, and store it.
It's fine with me.
Yeah, I think that you'd have to go to Parks and Recs for.
No, I don't think so. I mean, this is activity stuff for them. I don't think we need to go to Park and Rec for everything. I think they're not having an activity there. They're just gonna take the sign, which is our purview to approve or not approve, and if they wanna store it behind there, I think that's fine. I mean, it's not impeding any activity at the common, and I don't think we need to have.
I mean, I'd certainly let Ally know, and she could communicate that so they'd be aware as to
Okay,
why there's a sign there.
okay. And who it belongs to.
Yeah, I think we're okay.
It says Lions on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bolton Lions.
Yeah. Sounds good. So,
All right. So I'll make a motion that the selectmen approve the Bolton Lions Club sign on the town common for the annual cider donut sale.
Second.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Well, good luck.
You made it easy for me, gentlemen.
You try.
Thank you.
Try.
Thank you.
Thank you.
sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, next up is Bolton Access Television. Yay! How are you?
Good. Good to see you
Good to see
guys.
you too.
So we have new equipment.
Very good.
It's not 100% functional, but it is all installed. We're still working out a few of the kinks. You probably see me over there with the mouse.
Cool.
So can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so 4 brand new JVC cameras. They're all HD. So the world will be able to see us in all of our bright shining glory. Yep, they're in pretty much the same places as they were.
Yep.
We also got 2 new mics. They're voice tracker mics. So they try to listen to whoever's talking and kind of cut out stuff happening on the sides. So we're hoping that that'll help kind of tone down on some of the extraneous noises.
So how's it been so far? I know it's been up the last week or 2. Was it working out okay?
There's been a lot of kinks, mostly software stuff. The hardware is working great. It's just getting all of the networking pieces to talk to each other.
Gotcha.
It's been interesting.
Yeah. Some of the older people, like myself, who watch these and other meetings,
I'm glad you spoke for yourself.
I spoke for myself.
Thank you, thank you.
Sometimes the microphones, the prior microphones,
Mhm.
picked up ambient noise and kind
Yes.
of overwhelmed speakers. And there were a lot of
Yeah.
people who come before the board and aren't used to public speaking and
Sure.
they're nervous, and so their voices are a little more subdued.
Yeah, I had noticed
So,
that as well. It's
I-
especially bad when like the air conditioner's running or, so
Right.
any kind of
Right.
noise like that. So we're hoping that these mics will help cut down a
Excellent.
lot on that.
Cool.
And you're never going to be able to get rid of all of it, but
Right.
hopefully if it makes it a little more intelligible.
And then the panel up there
Yeah.
has all these different tiles.
So the thing that's sitting on top there is actually a portable computer. It's a switcher inside a box, basically. And theoretically, this is the part we're still working on, we can connect to it over the internet and control it from anywhere. And Nick is back at the station right now doing that. And then what you're seeing on the screen down there is what cable viewers would see, just like the previous thing. We also have our backup camera there because I never trust something the first the first time it rolls.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, right now, on the lower screen is what everyone's seeing on.
Yes, the
So-
thing on the lower screen is
So they're
what-
focusing on these two fine individuals here, not
You're watching
you.
members of the press.
Well, they're
Yeah.
showing off the computer
They're,
screen as Nicky
okay.
describes it.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
it's that little bright thing up in the upper right-hand corner for those of you at home.
you can see it. Yeah, like I said, we're still working out trying to get
Gotcha.
the full IP functionality. It's
Okay.
Nick has the feed, but he hasn't been able to actually control the cameras yet. So from over there.
Gotcha.
There we go.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
There we go. Somebody hit it with a hammer back at the
That was
station.
it. We always keep a big sledgehammer.
Apply a little hardware.
So it's best thing for computers.
Cool, well, that's great, that's great.
High def, so we're gonna need makeup before these things.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
Well, you know, me, Stan, and Don, we could burn out a lot of TV screens. We have to keep moving so that the pixels.
That's
don't-
right, well, when we don't want the audience to see something, just Don and I go like this.
You know, just hold stuff up.
Jonathan's got more follicles than the three of us put together.
There's still a lot of shine going on.
That's too funny. Well, great, no, that's super, that's
Yeah.
great, that's great.
That's the steps forward.
There's been a lot of work going on in here, so yeah.
Excellent.
And then the other thing is just the quarter two payment from Comcast.
So you're looking to get $26,885.06.
Yep. And
Is that up from the
26?
last one?
last one was 27.
Oh, was
Yeah.
okay.
But they do seem to fluctuate quite a lot throughout the quarters. I've looked back at a lot of them and they're up there
I
like
know.
this.
Okay.
So- So we sort of guessed that it's always going to be around 25, but
So,
very, very
so have you, is the federal government, have they dropped that idea of getting rid of these fees, or has it just disappeared? or
it's a whole
keeping track of
thing.
that?
Yeah, we've been watching it really closely. So the FCC has had their final ruling. What they have sort of settled on is that the cable companies can deduct what they consider in-kind services from our franchise fees. So they haven't said what they're going to consider in-kind services yet. We think that INETs will be included, which is the big coax that we have from Town Hall to Houghton, and then of course from Emerson over to us. So we'll probably lose some money on that. Like free drops for schools and town buildings and things like that, they may consider those in-kind costs. It's all really up in the air right now. So I think that the cable companies have to give us notice 120 days before they actually start charging. Yeah,
Okay.
so we're waiting.
Okay, thanks for
All right.
mentioning this.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, there's the money there, so let's
I
let's
will
let's
move to
give it to her.
release the $26,885.06 to Bolton Access TV from the Comcast Fund.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you guys, appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Good to see
Good
you.
to
Thank
see you
you.
again.
Thank you very much. You have a nice night.
Thanks, you too.
All right, next up is the town administrator report.
Well, kicking off with Minuteman, opening day at Minuteman went very well.
That's right.
They are in the new building.
Cool.
I'm still getting used to when they refer to the old building, since I was in that building for so long. But things seem to be going well. I'm sure there were a few hiccups here and there, but nothing that was a showstopper. We have another building committee meeting next Monday night, which I'll be attending, and then just another reminder, I think you'll put it in your calendars already, but it's still the ribbon cutting is still scheduled for Friday, October 4th, I believe 10 to 12. And, the selectmen are all invited to attend. I will certainly be there. I wouldn't miss that for anything. And when you decide whether or not you can make it, just let me know and I'll make sure that you're on the guest list. As I'll be checking people in. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people there, so they're going to want a good head count. But I think you'll be, if you're able to make it, I don't think you'll be sorry that you made the trip.
Yeah.
It's quite a school. And I'm really pleased to have been able to have played a small part in it.
Great.
As far as the portico goes, clearly the staging is still up. The woodwork is supposed to be done now tomorrow. And the trim work is supposed to have some notes actually here. As a real-time update from Joe today. Didn't have the update meeting this week, that got canceled. We're planning on finishing all the woodwork by the end of this week, which is tomorrow. Then finish the painting and caulking by the middle of next week, and take down the staging and install the brick patio by the end of next week. The foreman believes the job will be done by the end of September. So
Okay.
we'll see if we make this
This year?
of this year.
Okay.
I am personally not pledging that, but that's the latest information that we have, and I'm sticking with it.
Well, I was reviewing some minutes this afternoon. It said
Oh, no.
Done by August 17th.
So it's a bit of a moving target right now.
I was just wondering, did that start before or after Minuteman?
It was after Minuteman. It was after the pyramids and after Minuteman. So there's that. Yeah, but we are doggedly keeping it within budget. We will not go over budget under any circumstances.
When did they demo the old school? Minuteman?
We don't have a firm date for that yet, because we're working on, well, actually, that may not be true. It could be demoed by the end of the calendar year, because the plan is to put in athletic fields once it's demoed. And they're working on different options for that.
That's great.
But I think it'll be demoed by the end of the year. That's a good question. So next, we have the chief's commendation letter for our two officers. The officers were not able to be here tonight, but they do know that I'm going to read this letter to the Board of Selectmen and for the people viewing at home. From the Bolton Police Department, this is the Chief's Commendation Letter, Life-Saving Award. The Life-Saving Award is hereby presented to Officer Daniel Keller and Officer Jeffrey White in recognition of their life-saving actions on August 24th, 2019. On August 24th, 2019, at approximately 8:42 p.m., Officers Dan Keller and Jeff White responded to 99 Norse Road for a reported structure fire. Upon arrival, they were met with a smoke-filled residence and a female throwing water on the fire. When it was discovered that there were two children sleeping somewhere on the second floor, both officers immediately proceeded through the smoke and fire to search for them. The children were located in their bedrooms on the second floor, and the officers were able to exit the residence safely with the children. Officers then learned that the family dog was still in the residence. Both officers went back into the residence to search for the dog. The dog was located and safely brought outside to the awaiting family. The children and the family dog were all rescued in a timely manner, which resulted in no one being injured. The outcome could have been far worse. Your quick thinking and actions prevented any loss of life or serious injuries. The Bolton Police Department recognizes and deeply appreciates the dedication and commitment that both of these officers exhibited, going above and beyond the typical call of duty. I wish to express, on behalf of the entire Bolton Police Department, my gratitude for your extraordinary life-saving actions. Your efforts were truly outstanding. Signed, Warren E. Nelson Jr., Chief of Police. And I couldn't agree more with what Chief Nelson says. That's
great.
And these officers did this not looking for any recognition. In fact, I know, because the chief told me, that there was at least one TV station that called looking to interview them, and they did not want to do an interview. They said that's not what we're about. This is part of what we do, and we're not looking to get any publicity for it. So very good for them.
This is, very dramatic, but I think a lot of people don't realize that the police and the EMTs and the fire department do many similar things. Again, not as dramatic as this, but several times over the course of this year, we have received emails and letters from people in town wanting to recognize the behavior and performance of some of these first responders.
Yes, we do get thank you emails from people. The chief tries to include them in the monthly report, so the selectmen are aware of them. And again, the officers view that as, part of their job. They're not looking to take a bow, but they certainly, they're human beings. They appreciate the thank yous from the public. So,
no, it's true. I've worked with those guys the 20 odd years I've been in public service, and they all do an outstanding job. Definitely need to be commended.
So, and I know I've discussed the ambulance fire merger in the past, but this is more for the public than the selectmen, because you've already seen this, but we have received correspondence back from the state officially accepting our application for the transfer of the ambulance over to the fire department. And so as far as the state's concerned, it's a done deal.
Great.
So we've successfully completed the process.
Excellent.
We've got the one step left where we've got the Chief Legendre still working with the department on coming up with a new patch, and the final decision on the patch will be at the holiday party.
Cool.
So it's a nice team building exercise there. And lastly on the list here, I've got the review of proposed policy on compensatory time, or as we call it, comp time. The town hall has had a practice of comp time for years. Many years, and that's a fine practice, and it should be, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it needs to be managed so that it doesn't get out of hand, because any comp time is a liability, a financial liability for the town. If a person were to leave our employ and they had X number of hours on the book, they're entitled to be paid for that. So it's something that the auditors have mentioned. I have been wanting to get this policy done anyway. Through two HR directors, I wanted to get the policy done. Kristen and I sat down and actually Marty did the first draft of this.
Okay.
And then Kristen and Jenny and I sat down and reviewed this. It doesn't impact a lot of people. I think we've got 5 or 6 total that have some level of comp time on the books. But just to make sure that we've got a good process in place where people that are, that we establish a cap. Anybody who is already beyond the cap will certainly be grandfathered. They won't lose anything. They can't lose anything. It's legally, they're entitled to it. And I'll put a plan together with each person individually, depending on how many hours they have, how much time, my expectation is that they get it down. Obviously, the person who has 50 hours will expect to be doing it more quickly than the person who has 100 hours, for example. But we'll get it all down, and then nobody will exceed 40 hours, and any comp time needs to be approved by me in advance. So from an HR perspective, we're in good shape. This is something that I want to present at my next staff meeting, but something like this policy really should be approved by the Board of Selectmen.
No, I'm fine with it. Any questions,
No,
Jim?
looks good. Looks good.
I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying, oh, second.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 You should know, as you see in the payroll every week, and you know that I fill out a sheet as well, and anything that I work over 80 hours, I put in comp time, although I said from day one, I don't get comp time. Salaried people should not get comp time. We're exempt employees as opposed to non-exempt employees. I only put it on there so there's a record of the hours that I do work. I guess one of the auditors at one point saw when a comp time, if you took it literally, that I have, and they almost lost their minds and said, you understand what kind of liability this is? And I made it clear, I'll say it on television, I'll sign anything saying I am not entitled to any of those hours
Okay.
for tracking purposes only.
There's Minuteman meetings.
Minuteman meetings.
Many others
yeah.
that you
Oh,
go
yeah.
to. Thank you,
The
Don.
thank you. Just the various activities that I get involved with. And then two things that are not on the agenda as an FYI, and again, I sent this out to the selectmen already, but again, for the public, we have received correspondence from the state, from the Executive Office of Health and Human Services, that the Cadet EMT program is now officially extended to December 31st, 2020. So right out to the end of the next calendar year, and well before that, I'm sure the extension will be renewed again. But to alleviate any concerns there might be around the Cadet EMT program, again, I did put a lot of time into this, but nobody put as much time into it as Representative Hogan did. She worked extremely hard at the highest levels of the state to get this done. And then again, just as an FYI, and this is something I've been working on for a little bit, back when the town first joined the Neshoba Valley Regional Dispatch District, we, as it turns out, were entitled to a one-time transition award, and we never received that. When the current executive director came on board, we started discussing that, and he submitted that as part of the one of the grants that we get from 911. That money was approved. It showed up in our second quarter invoice. So our invoice, we received a credit on our invoice in the amount of $16,364,
Nice.
which effectively covers the year-over-year increase in the assessment. So if you look at the net assessment, we're now pretty much even year-over-year.
Cool.
All right, good.
Excellent.
So we'll take money wherever we can get it. So very excited
Thank you.
about
So
that.
that's next year's.
That's great.
Yeah, it's exactly what I said to Nanachka today. We're already working on next year's free cash.
Next year's free cash.
So, and you did vote to approve the comp time policy, thank you. Unless you have any questions, that's all I have for you this evening.
Okay.
And copy with the town administrator, 8:30 to 9:30 tomorrow.
All right.
Where?
Bolton Bean.
Oh,
Thank you,
great.
Jonathan.
Be there.
Yep, you throw me the softball, I gotta hit it. Yep, the Bolton Bean.
Weather should be good.
Okay. All right. Next up is Board of Selectmen business. We always have a standing place for public service announcements. Anything?
Just, I was at Robinson's Hardware. They have over 200 snow throwers that people have brought in to prepare for winter. They're expecting another 90, which leads me to, when you're changing the oil on your snow thrower or lawnmower this fall, remember that the town DPW building does use that for heat, so please make an appointment to drop it off there.
Thank you.
Great.
So that we're expecting another 1990 or
They're expecting
90 inches?
They're expecting another 90 snow throwers to come in.
Oh, I actually thought you meant 1990 as well. I didn't remember how bad the winter was that year, so.
They've got,
They refurbish them, or what do they
they
do?
prep them for winter, you know, they've been sitting in storage,
Oh.
so they've got 200 in there now, they've got another 90 they're expecting.
But if you service your own, bring the oil.
Bring the oil here.
There you go.
You put it to good use.
Just a quick one for me, and once we get into the fall and our viewership goes up dramatically, I'll do some numbers. But tonight, remember everyone, the Boy Scouts have a nice little red shed up by the transfer station. You folks do a great job of bringing up your bottles and cans, but any of those bottles and cans that have a deposit on them, soda cans or beer bottles or beer cans, please drop them off at the Boy Scout Little Red Shed. That's one of their main sources of income, so we would appreciate you do that. There'll be more in September for me. That's all I got.
During Sweeps Week.
Next up is to appoint Bonnie Jaffe to the Council of Aging.
So moved.
All those in favor signify, oh, second?
Second.
Sorry, I'm just zooming ahead
Is
here.
Bonnie here?
No.
No.
So second, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next is to appoint Patricia Ben Settler, Jen Mix, Claire Moses, and Maureen Strapko to the Bolton Cultural Council.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That's all I needed to be here for.
Well, it was good to see you, Chris. And next is to approve the bills and the payroll warrants W20-05 and W20-05A, as well as W20-06 and W20-06A.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Now, just as an FYI, not for discussion tonight because it's not on the agenda, but an agenda item for the next Selectmen's meeting will be for you to discuss an option that is available under the Municipal Reform Act, which is to designate one selectman to be responsible for signing the warrant, so all three do not need to come in. And then it doesn't mean the other selectmen don't need to sign it. They're entitled to sign it. The warrant would be brought into the next meetings for viewing if the selectmen didn't make it in. My recommendation will be, if you decide to adopt that procedure, that whoever the chair is at that particular time assume the responsibility, so the responsibility rotates over time. But that's for the next meeting.
On another topic that's not on the agenda, September 12th is the Tri-Town meeting?
No, today's September 12th.
I'm sorry.
September 18th is the Tri-Town meeting.
Okay.
And if you have any agenda items, please get them into Jenny. Right now, I believe the agenda items that they're planning on are the update on the leach field, update on the opening of school, and a mosquito update as far as the school department is concerned. Those are the three that we have so far.
Opening the school.
And the opening of school, yes.
Okay. Alrighty, we have some minutes. I have both regular and executive session minutes for August 22nd, 2019. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
There we go. While we are doing that, we will be moving into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining for the fire union, as the chair finds that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the board's bargaining position, and the board will not reconvene to open session. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Great.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Roll call.
Sikansky,
Aye.
Keith,
Aye.
Wysocki,
Aye.
thank you.